Welcome back to our ongoing series about using Zotero. In this session, we are going to talk about creating an annotated bibliography. This video tutorial will show you where to include annotations into the citation in Zotero. It will also cover on how to make sure that the citation style that you're using in Zotero is going to allow for annotations. There's actually only a few that do, but we're going to make sure that you can find the correct one as well. And then we'll cover a few different ways to create bibliographies, including one that is good for really if you only need an annotated bibliography, and then another couple of different ways if you're going to attach that bibliography to an already in progress paper or slideshow. All right, so in Zotero, I'm in my little English 111 bibliography here that I've got going on. I've got 4 different citations, and in the information section on each of these citations, if I scroll down towards the bottom, there's this extra field. This is the field where you are going to need to enter in any annotations that you are adding to this reference or this citation here. So I've added one in here already. And you can, again, edit this and add in any information that you'd like within this field here. One thing to be careful of is that if you are importing references from a database, sometimes they will actually already have information in that extra field, but again, you're able to easily delete out any of that content and write your own annotation in this field. Let's go on to showing you how to create an annotated bibliography with all of these references. So you can select all of these references individually and right-click a field and then go down to create bibliography from items. You could also, if you are using every single reference within a folder or a collection that you've created here, I can actually go over to English 111, right-click on it, and say Create Bibliography from Collection. Both of those will bring you up to the citation styles that you have saved and that you use quite a bit. And you'll notice that there's quite a few in here, and that a couple of them actually do have an annotated bibliography here. So for APA 8, I have both the regular 7th edition, I also have annotated bibliography. And then down below, I also have MLA with in-text citations, but I don't have the annotated version of this, which is what I want to use. So if I go to Manage Styles, this will open my Zotero settings, so you could go down to Edit and Settings and do this. And within this, I'm going to click on Get Additional Styles. Now, if there is a particular one that you know you want to use, I could start typing in MLA and it will come back with some additional options here, including this. But if I don't know, or if I'm just searching for an annotated bibliography, I can search annotated and it will come back with the 4 that have annotations connected to Zotero, which include APA, Chicago Manual Style, as well as the Modern Language Association here. So I am going to click on it here, and it gives me a little bit of a preview of what this will look like. But I'm going to click on this, and then it should add to my style manager here that are kind of the normal styles that I go back to frequently. And then I can close this out. And then when I actually want to create that annotated bibliography, I can go over to my English 111 here, hit Create Bibliography from Collection, and that style that I wanted, that MLA 9th edition with annotations, is there. Now, when I'm creating my bibliography here, Zotero either wants to know if I want citations, which are those in-text citations or footnotes, so I could kind of get a preview of how this would look, but I want to stick on bibliography because I want the full list of citations. And there's a couple of different options here. Save as RTF means I would save it as a rich text file, meaning like a Word document or something that could be opened with Mac's word processor or something like LibreOffice. So in this case, I'm just going to save as rich text file and hit OK. And it will give me a rich text file here, and I can save it to as anything I want. So we're just going to do that. Hit save, and then if I go into my documents folder where I saved it, I can move it wherever I want, including Google Drive or my desktop or someplace else. But once I open this, it will give me those citations with those annotations established. So for the Center for Disease Control, for example, this one sentence was that annotation. And for the one citation that did not include an annotation where I actually deleted it out, there is no annotation here. So I can go in here and edit this and do anything else I want, or if I wanted to add in a citation to this last one, I can do so. This won't affect anything in Zotero though, so if I want to use that annotation later on, I am definitely going to need to go back and make sure that I have that annotation in Zotero as well. Now, double checking to make sure that everything came in okay is a good idea. So for example, like in MLA, they have multiple kind of containers here, and maybe I don't really care about this crossref, I just need that DOI, so I'm going to delete that out. And similarly with this tobacco control bmg.com, maybe I don't actually want to include that in there, so I can delete this out. Again, any changes I make in this Word document are not going to be reflected in Zotero at all. One way to add an annotated bibliography to a paper or project that is already in process is to use the copy-paste function in Zotero. So for example, if I am only using 2 citations so far, I'm going to right click, I'm going to go down to create bibliography from items, and instead of saving as an RTF, I'm going to copy to my clipboard and say OK. And then I can go into my Word document and paste in and keeping the source formatting so that the hanging indent and all of the double spacing actually keeps there. Now I might need to mess with this just a little bit because the annotation is actually didn't keep the hanging indent, but that's a quick fix there. And again, double checking to make sure that everything I want is there and I don't need this extra information. Again, any changes I make on these citations will not be reflected in Zotero. The other way to add an annotated bibliography onto a paper or project that's already in process is to use the Zotero Add-on to Word or the Zotero Connector in Google Docs. The Zotero Add-on in Word should automatically be attached to your Word document program when you install the desktop version of Zotero, but if it isn't there, you are able to go on and add it individually. But what happens is there needs to be an in-text citation in order for a bibliography to add on. So if you don't have a bibliography or you just need a bibliography, this is not the good way to go. But if you are citing as you are going along, this is where you're going to need to add in an in-text citation, and then it will create a bibliography here. So the first time that you add in Zotero, it'll ask you to update your document preferences with the citation style that you want. So really similarly to when you were creating a bibliography, it will ask you what citation style, and I'm going to stick with the Modern Language 9th here, and it will also automatically update those citations so that it will bring in and update things to Zotero if you change them in Zotero. So I'm going to say OK here. And now to add in a citation, I'm going to put a space in between my word and the period of where I want to add that citation. And I'm going to go over to Add Citation, and it will prompt this box to log in here. And I can search by an author name. So if I wanted to cite the Center for Disease Control, and again with MLA in-text citations, I need to add a page number. So I can do that. I can also add multiple citations within one quote. So I can even search by a title here, and I can add in that scientific review here, and I'm saying I'm going to be citing page 5. Okay. Once I click enter or the arrow here, it adds those in as well. And in order to add that bibliography, I need to come in at the very end of my paper after where I've said my works cited or reference section here, and I'm going to click on Add Bibliography, and it adds it in here. Now this should come in with everything formatted correctly, but in case it doesn't, you still have the ability to format using Word, including adding in double spacing and using that hanging indent as well. Like so. So I can go in and continue to this. The other nice thing is that if I do want to add in another citation here from the Hanfin article on page, we'll say 7, it will add in another citation and it will put it in the correct space. Now it does kind of remove some of that formatting, so I might need to wait until format this until the very end of my project. With Google Docs, the process is really similar. I do need to have the Zotero Connector browser extension added to my browser in order for this to work. I also need to have the Zotero desktop program running on my computer. So it's not enough just to be logged into the Zotero web library. I have to have that desktop program running. But once I have all that set up, I can add a citation and bibliography really similarly to how I did it in Word. So I'm going to add or edit citation here. If this is the first time I'm adding in a citation, it will ask me what style I want, but in this case I already have something going. So I'm going to use that handfin one, and I'm going to say that I'm citing page 5. And then that citation goes where I have my cursor. So if I need to move it, I can actually do that. And Zotero will update the document. And again, if I need to add in that works cited list down here, I can go ahead and add a bibliography. And it'll take a second. So that was creating an annotated bibliography in Zotero. If you have any questions, please feel to reach out to our librarians. And thank you for watching.